Good morning, everybody. It's George from BW Unlimited Charity Fundraising. It's a beautiful day outside. We've got a lot to talk about. I want to thank everybody who especially has been watching and comments and calls me, telling me they watch our videos, especially to my number one fan, Regina Harrison. Hey, Regina, thank you for watching our videos. Well, we got a good one coming up for you, the Austin's event on July 17th. So today we're going to talk about some things that are a bit controversial, mainly the things that charities tell themselves that basically are lies, that they somehow convince themselves are truths, and the mistakes they're making. And we're also going to talk about the reality of charity fundraising. So today, here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to look up this website, www.taxexemptworld.com, taxexemptworld.com, so that you too can see what I'm going to say, because it's truth. Because the reality is charity fundraising is not about charities, it's about business. That's successful charity fundraising. You've got to understand it. It's extremely competitive. TaxExemptWorld.com, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pull up your state. Pull up your state. When you go to that website, pull up your state, pull up your city, your county, even take it as far as your zip code. But today, for this purposes, we're going to use the Austin Smash Austin's event on July 17th at Martin's East Wind for the young man who is now as a rock, who everybody loves. He's a rock star, doing fantastic, and we're all pulling for him. Little Austin. We're going to do an event there at Martin's East. So far, we're getting close. If it's not sold out already, it's 700 people. It's a big, big, big event. So that is in Baltimore County, Maryland. Now, once you go on that website, what I'm teaching you about is the reality of fundraising, how competitive it is. And you've got to understand this. Don't listen to what anybody else tells you. Listen to what I'm telling you. George from BW Unlimited Charity Fundraising, because this is the reality, and this will make you successful. If you understand it, you accept it, you move forward. Austin's event, 700 people. That's what happens. All right. So taxexemptworld.com, go on there, run your county, run your state, whatever. And Regina, do this, taxexemptworld.com. Now we're going to enter in Baltimore County, Maryland. Baltimore County. Now you have to understand, Maryland is a very small state, extremely small, tiny, tiny, tiny. I think the only state bigger than Maryland is Rhode Island. And that's a blip on the map. So we're going to look at Baltimore County. First, let's start with Maryland. Again, Maryland, very small state, right? There are, and I've got my notes sitting next to me because I wouldn't be prepared, there are 24 counties in Maryland, not very many. If you look at a state like Texas, California, Florida, bajillion counties. Here in Maryland, we live, everybody says, where do you live? They say Baltimore County, Harford County, Cecil County, whatever. So we're going to look at Maryland as a whole, little tiny state. In Maryland, believe it or not, little tiny itty bitty state, there are 49,950 charities doing fundraisers. Can you believe it? Almost 50,000 charities in Maryland alone. 50,000. I wonder how many people there are in Maryland. I don't have those numbers. So almost 50,000, 49,950. 49,950. Now that doesn't also count the benefit events. Like for instance, Austin Smash event is a benefit. It's not a charity. Austin is not a charity. It's a benefit. It's his friends and family getting together, hold a fundraiser. Those are benefit events. If somebody's house burns down, there's a flood, there's medical need, whatever, and people get out in the community and they hold a fundraiser for them, that's a benefit event. That's not teams. That's not this. It's not that. 49,950 in Maryland alone. Okay, let's move it. Let's move forward. Let's take it down a notch. A county in Maryland, one county out of the 24 counties in Maryland, Baltimore County, there are, take a guess, 6,604 charities in Baltimore County alone, all of them doing fundraisers. 6,604. Total assets of these 6,604 charities, total assets, almost $19 billion in Baltimore County alone. Now, you want to talk about competitive? That's competitive. TaxExemptWorld.com. Charities, wake up. This is competition. It's competition. Charities, the problem with charities today is everybody thinks they're known amongst themselves. Oh no, it's all about me and we're the only charities that exist. No, it's not. No, it's not. You got to think business. This is business. You got to appeal to the people. And there are ways to get the response like Austin's event, right, Regina? Austin's event with 700 people there. There's ways to do that. But you got to understand it. Or you got to bring somebody in, like me, BW Limited Charity Fundraising, www.bwlimited.com. That's right. I got to put a little plug in there. So you got to bring somebody in or understand the reality of it. To understand it's competition. That people just tune it out. They become numb to it. We've talked about that before. All the marketing, we've talked. There's 104 million charities in the United States. All that. Watch my other blogs. I'll explain it there. All right. So you got to understand that's the reality of charity fundraising. It's competition. You got to think like business. Now, if you haven't watched it before, I've posted before on our blogs, on our Facebook fan page. Like us on Facebook, please. If you haven't seen it there, there's a video by a fellow by the name of Dan Paluta, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name. You've got to watch that video. If you want to watch it, let me know somehow through Facebook or wherever. Comment, George, I'd like to see that video, and I'll post it again for you to watch. It's on YouTube. It's about business. Charities must have to think like business. So, very good. If a charity thinks like business, they rely on somebody who understands the fundraising today, they'll be rock stars. Austin's event. Cool? All right, moving on. Second thing, we just came out of an event over the weekend, and I saw 9,000 mistakes. In fact, I was writing pages of notes, mistakes. Now, we've talked about these numbers. Baltimore County, Maryland, 49,950 charities in Maryland. Now, if you take, there's 10 volunteers for each charity, what are the numbers then? Ridiculous, right? Almost 500,000 people out looking for donations. Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about donations. In Baltimore County alone, 6,604. I'd like to know how many businesses there are in Maryland, and again, I don't have those numbers. Now, let's talk about donations. The reality of donations are, and this is the reality of it. If you don't like it, if you don't like what I'm going to say, too bad. Turn it off, hit stop, and move on. The reality of donations is this. There's businesses all over your state, wherever you live. Now, that get asked to donate constantly. Constantly. I just talked to a business owner the other day, and they said they get asked 20 times a day. Every day. 20 times a day. Let's move it out. 20 times a week. They're getting asked by every charity out there, and every charity out there swears that they're going to do this and that they need to donate to them. Business owners can't. You just can't. So what you either do is you either give them something that's not selling in your store, or you give them a gift certificate or whatever. But the problem is this, that every other charity in the area is asking them too, right? So their reality, they're giving you things that aren't selling in the store, i.e. junk. It's the truth. Ask them. Go ask them. I dare you. I dare you to go to a business that is kind of high profile in the area. Ask them. I dare you. I challenge you to do it. Now, the problem is that every charity is doing the same thing. So the other mistake is this, so that you're getting these low quality items and you're expecting a lot of money for them, and it never happens, and you lie to yourself and whatever. But here's what I want you to understand too is if you get a donation, let's say John's Vacation Home. I saw this past weekend, and it wasn't a John's Vacation Home, just using that as an example. You get John's Vacation Home, but you have it for this year's event. You had it for last year's event, and you probably had it for the previous year's event. Now, what happens is the first time you introduce show John's Vacation Home or some fishing trip or whatever, that vacation home at the first time gets the maximum audience, right? So you're going to get a very high bid, hopefully get a very high bid for that item. Now, the next year you come in, same audience, the audience goes down because the top bidder got it for last year. So now you're scraping the middle ground. Now somebody else is going to get it cheap. Plus, the guy who paid, let's say, $5,000 for it is going to get a little mad when it only goes for $2,000 the second year. This is the reality. This is what happens. And if you think I'm telling a lie, you're wrong and you're living in a fantasy land. So it goes down. Then you bring it in the third year and it goes down. However, the charity who thinks it's all about charity says, oh my God, last year it got $2,000 or whatever. It's not going to get that this year. So the real deal is you got to have different things. It takes work. If you want to be successful, you got to have different things. You got to get different donations in order to keep it fresh. Now, we're going to talk about this event, and I'm not going to tell you which event because, so this event had similar items year after year after year, right? This one item did not bring as much as it did the previous year. However, it still brought in good money, right? However, we also had one of our charity travel packages. We had a few of them, but this one charity travel package is a little high priced. Our Sommier wine and cheese, absolute fantastic package, airfare, the whole deal. Sommier wine and cheese, all these little $1,000 or whatever items up against the Sommier wine and cheese. Now, the client said, George, we don't have that kind of people. It's the same thing. We've talked about that in the previous. We have those kind of people. People aren't going to spend that much. Well, guess what? The little items that they had year after year after year only sold for right around $1,000. Sommier wine and cheese sold 3 times for $4,500. So that means one package made them close to $5,000, but yet 5 of their other packages made them $1,000 each. One package against all these others. Success. Understand this. I'm going to wrap this video up. Understand this. The reality of charity fundraising is that donations aren't working on a live auction, and you've got to think like a business. You got to withdraw yourself out of the charity and think like a business, and you too will be successful going down the road to success. Thanks again. This is George from BW Limited Charity Fundraising, www.bwlimited.com. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I hope to see you at your next event. If you need help, your next event, you're in the planning stage, give us a call. 410-658-8808, 410-658-8808, or email me direct at george@bwlimited.com. I'll see you next time. Thank you.